A lot of self-filmers are always looking for ways to, I guess, lighten their load and make have as minimal a stuff as they possibly can. One of the big things when you're self-filming is obviously having a good camera arm and having one that's stable and that can handle you know, whether it be a small handy cam all the way up to a bigger, say, production style camera. Myself, I started out with this. This is the Muddy Outfitter camera arm. It's a great camera arm. It is stable, it is rock solid, but one thing that it is not small, and it is bulky, and it just takes up a ton of space. So I did some research and I came up with an alternative that I think is a great alternative, and I'm going to show you guys in just a second. So when I first started getting into filming, self-filming, I bought pretty much what the standard was for the camera arms, and that was the Muddy Outfitter arm. And for the money, this is a great arm. It's stable, it's rock solid, it does all the things that a camera arm needs to do, but the one thing that it doesn't do is it's just not that small. It is a big, bulky outfit, and I just thought there's gotta be a better way. And without going out and buying a complete setup like the Fourth Arrow, I looked into them. They're a great setup. I would definitely buy one, but I just thought maybe I could find something that was just a little bit maybe cheaper alternative that would take care of the situation that I was in, because I like the arm. This is a great arm. It's light, it does everything on it. I've got a relatively inexpensive fluid head on it. This is a Velbon Mini Pro fluid head. It's the Velflow 9 PH368. It's a great inexpensive head. I can put that link to this in the description. But aside from buying a Manfrotto, which might be an upgrade down the road, this is a great fluid head. But aside from the fluid head, the arm itself, it's a nice arm. But this, not that nice. This just took up so much space in my backpack, space that I could use for my clothes and other gear, and I just had to come up with an alternative, and I think I did. Hence, the Out on a Limb camera base. This camera base, I did some research, and what I found was that Matt Garris at Out on a Limb obviously offers this as an alternative, you know, a whole alternative camera setup with a base in the arm. But aside from that, he offers this base by itself, and then per request by the hunter, you can have the nylon bushing that fits into the actual base itself. You can have that fitted to accept the Muddy Outfitter camera arm. And I just thought that that was a no-brainer, and I just couldn't wait to get this thing and try it out. And we're going to do a little bit more detailed video on the upside of this and how great it is in comparison to the Muddy Outfitter base. The one thing that I found about this base, aside from it just being bulky, was that, you know, it just was big. I mean, look at the size of this thing. It takes up a ton of space. So, and then aside from that, the strap itself, which is a ratchet strap, which in my opinion, it obviously can get things tight, but it is loud, it is clunky, and as you can see from putting it on, it's somewhat tough to get on the tree itself. You know, it is workable, but I wouldn't call it the greatest thing ever. If I can get this around the tree here. To get it around the tree, obviously, it has the button somewhat similar to, say, like a Lone Wolf stick, or you know, any of the sticks out there these days. So the strap is obviously a ratchet strap, which is fine, but this is where you get into the noise part of it. Trying to get the strap on and then sitting in your tree, mind you, you're, you know, several feet in the air, maybe 20 feet, maybe less, maybe more. And say on a cool morning today we have a breeze, but on a cool, crisp morning where it's super, super quiet and you're going into a set for the first time, and here you are clunking around with your ratchet strap. Obviously, it's very, very solid. It's very solid, I'll give it that. But this strap is a big no-no for me, and every time I got into the tree, I couldn't stand it. So, it obviously sets up nice. On the top of the Muddy Outfitter arm, you've got the bubble ball, which is fine. And that helps out great to put your camera on. And your camera arm, you can adjust this up and down. You can adjust here to get your bubble in place. Which I can do here relatively quickly. And then adjust it this way. So for this purpose, normally I would put my my big camera on this camera base, but for this we're going to be using my Panasonic Lumix G85, and this is a great camera, by the way. I'll leave a link to this camera in the description. This is a camera that I first initially started out with for filming my hunts, and I love it. It shoots 4K, does a lot of great things. But anyway, this is the camera that I'm going to use for this purpose. So this base, it works great for this camera. And obviously it has plenty of strength. It doesn't move at all. You can get this camera, you know, around. And like I said, this base is awesome. But I decided that I needed something a little bit smaller that was going to fit better in my pack, that was adjustable, that obviously could accept this camera arm, because I didn't need a new camera arm. I was looking for a base, so that's why I bought this Out on a Limb camera base. The one thing that you'll notice right away about this Out on a Limb base is that it's so much more compact than the Muddy arm. And one thing that I love about it is it has a boat buckle type strap on it. So not only is it it's quieter for one. It's got this keeper on the back here. This is a little bit of something that I wish I could grasp a little bit better and maybe get this to work a little bit better. But this is it's a good concept for sure. So obviously you can see, you can get this sucker tight. And once you get it tight, you just cam it over on that strap, and then you would take your tag end of your strap and use this Velcro here to keep the loose ends of your strap all in place. Now I've taken this piece of tape here, and all this tape is just so that this buckle, this strap won't slide back through the buckle itself if you got it out to a full extension. So obviously it's white, it can be seen, but nothing that you couldn't do with, you know, put a marker, black marker on it or whatever, or you can get yourself some camouflage tape. But aside from that, that sucker's rock solid. You can see it. You know, obviously there's a comparison between the two. There's no doubt that this is more streamlined. It's more compact. It doesn't stick out as far. And then it accepts your Muddy arm. So, and then to adjust it, you basically just have this this gear, or this I guess what you call it, just this lever, and you can pull this lever out to turn it and then tighten, and that's actually in pretty good shape right there. So I'll put my camera on, and this will obviously this arm will take a big camera like my big one that you're watching right now, but I mean, it does everything that a camera arm needs to do, and like I said, it stays level, it's compact to the tree. And one thing that I love about it, especially for saddle hunting, is that it's so tight to the tree, and when you're saddle hunting, you're obviously facing the tree, so you need something that you can get inside of you quite relatively easy without making a whole bunch of movement, and that's where this base kind of shines in my eyes. Obviously, it'd be different if you're a saddle hunter and you have the Muddy arm. Now you've got an extra probably 8 to 10 inches that you have to get away, that you can't you have to get away from the tree, and that's just really tough to do when you're in a saddle. Now, if you're a stand hunter, hey, this works out great, no problems. You know, this works out great if you're a stand hunter here too, as well. Obviously, I'm not going to have this base up as high while I'm at hunting height. Normally, I have it down more about hip level, so I can just make the adjustments on the fly and you know, not have any issues with it getting in the way of everything. But just so for this particular purpose, you guys can see the difference in these two. So I just love that you can get this base from a company who, you know, would love to sell you a whole camera arm and base setup, that they would offer this and make this, you know, basically make this nylon fitting to fit, you know, this camera arm and probably any other camera arm for that matter. You just tell them what camera arm you have, and they'll fit the nylon bushing for that. So it's a great product. You can go on Out on a Limb's website. I can't remember what this base costs. It's not a ton of money. It's definitely less than $100. But for the money, I think it's a great upgrade from this, and it's just a great all-around addition for any mobile hunter.